The city of Honolulu is about 60 square miles. It's an 18-mile drive from the Honolulu International Airport to Hawaii Kai. Most of the people live in the metro region of Honolulu, and that puts us at about 1 million people. This second part of our series, Living in Honolulu, includes the region of Diamond Head. Neighborhoods like St. Louis, Kaimuki, Palolo, the Gold Coast of Waikiki, Kahala, Diamond Head, Hawaii Loa Ridge, and all the neighborhoods in between. Welcome to Living in Honolulu Part 2, the Diamond Head region. This region includes some of Oahu's most expensive and also most beautiful homes, but more importantly, the homes that offer some really incredible views. And this neighborhood here is called St. Louis. I'd say it's the most affordable neighborhood with beautiful views, and we're gonna go check out a house right now that's right here in St. Louis. Prices, by the way, go from about 1.1 million up to about $2 million. This is a great example of a fully renovated hillside home in Honolulu. Now, St. Louis homes are typically built in the 40s and 50s. They're on post and pier foundation. They are built on the hill, but homes that are built on a hill, especially post and pier foundation, are really easy to renovate, like this one. To get something like this that's turnkey, ready to move in, and beautiful, expect to pay about $2 million. For anybody living in the city of Honolulu, convenience is definitely the priority, but when we're talking about the Diamond Head region, people really prioritize views, and therefore they're willing to sacrifice yard space. You're gonna see that many of these homes are built a little closer together. There's not much yard, but when you get a view like this, it's totally okay. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the Diamond Head region is the more expensive real estate on Oahu, but this region here, or this neighborhood rather, St. Louis, like I said, is the most affordable for those with views. Speaking of affordability, we're gonna take a drive down the street to the most affordable neighborhood in this region, Palolo Valley. One thing real estate photos are not going to show you is what it's like to drive up and down to these properties. It's going to show you the view and the beautiful house, but getting there can be like quite the adventure. The streets are kind of windy. Sometimes you have to pull over on the side when another car is coming. St. Louis is not so bad, but some of the other hillside neighborhoods like Maunalani Heights or Wilhelmina Rise, there's a super steep and narrow street where you have to move over for the car that's coming the other way. We're gonna head down to Palolo. We're gonna talk about or show you the more rural side of this region. Some of the houses in Palolo are very similar to St. Louis. St. Louis homes have unfinished basements. Being the nature of the home being built into the hillside, you can typically kind of like make the basement like another living space. It's not legal or permitted, but a lot of people do it. So there's a lot of multi-generational living up there, a lot of multi-generational living in Palolo, as well as Kaimuki, which is where we're going right now. And we actually did a video on Kaimuki previously, so check that one out. Kaimuki is a bit dense, but the great thing about this neighborhood is that it's hands down like probably the place where some of the best food is. Local people will tell you that Kaimuki is the place for all of the really good restaurants, Chinese food, Korean food, old school restaurants, stuff that's a little bit more trendy. My favorite coffee shop, Coffee Talk, has now turned into The Talk. On Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights, they do more like craft cocktails. This area is just kind of like a Brooklyn. I said that in our Kaimuki video, but it's just a fun and interesting place to live, and again, very convenient. Welcome to Palolo Valley. Now, Palolo Valley is one of those neighborhoods that kind of has a bad rep. For a couple of decades, it was like, don't go to Palolo, and all the rough people live in Palolo. But this neighborhood has since transitioned, and it is a neighborhood that means a lot to a lot of people and has a lot of history. It's the more rural neighborhood of Honolulu. You'll have lots of fruit trees back here. You'll hear birds. There's a stream that flows through here. The climate is a little bit more like Manoa Valley. It gets quite a bit of rain. And also a lot of great musicians come from this valley, like the Ka'au Crater Boys, because the Ka'au Crater is right behind us. Brudda is actually spent quite a bit of his childhood here. in this neighborhood, and a lot of people who grew up here, much like what I said in our previous video in Metro Honolulu, people who grew up here feel a strong sense of pride, like, hey, yeah, I'm from Palolo, so what? Now, prices in this neighborhood average a little under $1 million, so a lot of my local clients that are looking for a single family home or are looking to move up, I'll tell them like, hey, consider Palolo, and they'll say, Palolo, isn't that kind of a rough area? And then we'll come in here and they'll realize that it has such charm and it has a really great Hawaii feel about it. It's also become quite a spillover neighborhood from Kaimuki and Kahala. Of course, Kahala prices are crazy, and then that pushes people into Kaimuki, which pushes prices up in Kaimuki, and now they're kind of spilling over into Palolo as families are transitioning on. A lot of these homes have been in families for many generations, but as they turn over, we're seeing a lot of our first-time home buyers or our second-time home buyers move into this neighborhood. As we've made our way out of Palolo and out of Kaimuki, now we're in Kapahulu. Kapahulu is right at the base of Diamond Head, and it's a little bit close to Waikiki. And one of the things you'll find in Kapahulu is that it starts to feel a little less dense, a little bit more like a neighborhood. So you've got these really cute places to eat, and you've got this street here, Montserrat, to walk along. This is a place where you'll see a lot of people on the weekends after a Diamond Head hike. And that's the thing about this area. Diamond Head region brings about more lifestyle, more outdoor activity, hiking and going to the beach and eating acai bowls, which sounds amazing right now. And we're gonna go grab one because it's hot. This is the perfect treat for a hot day, or especially after you've hiked Diamond Head, which a lot of people do. They'll go hike Diamond Head and then they'll come here to the Cove. I think it's the Cove. I don't even know what the name of this place is. We've called it so many different names over the years, but this was the original place where I had my very first acai bowl. And the other thing that I remembered about this place, pre-COVID, they used to have live music and they would have Ava night, or some people know it as Kava, but great musicians like Barry Flanagan from Hapa would play here. Ernie Cruz from the Ka'au Crater Boys used to play here, as well as John Cruz, Guy Cruz, Imua, Tifa, some really great musicians where you could come and like hang out with your friends and drink Ava or have an acai bowl. I'm gonna dig into this because it's a hot day and I'm hungry and I need a little pick-me-up. Every year, Honolulu gets the prize for being the #1 fittest city in the nation. And when I think about that, this is the area I really think of. People running around Diamond Head. It's like a nice 5-mile loop with like little inclines. People running up this hill here. People surfing out here at Diamond Head, windsurfing, stand-up paddling, hiking places like Kuli'o'o Trail, Wa'ahila Ridge, of course, Diamond Head. People riding their bike. This is definitely the area of Oahu that attracts the most active people. As we move further east, things really start to open up. So you're not really gonna find condos in this region. However, there are condos at the end of Waikiki. They are the only condos in Waikiki along the beach that you can actually own, and that's called the Gold Coast. And those condos cost anywhere from like $1.5 million up to over $3 million. If you don't have a parking stall, it's gonna be about 1.5, but those condos are beautiful. They're right on the beach. They're by the Outrigger Canoe Club and the Elks Club. And then of course, as you come up here and we move closer to Kahala, you're going to find the Diamond Head homes that are along the beach. Those prices there are at least $3 million. Usually they're more like $5 million. And then you've got the homes at Black Point, Kahala. Those are some of the most expensive homes, $5, $6, $7, $10 million. We also did a video previously on Kahala, the most expensive real estate on Oahu, so check that video out. But then we're gonna move along towards Hawaii Kai to some more valley, hillside, and oceanfront communities. As we left Kahala and make our way closer to Hawaii Kai, we passed a couple of communities that are worth mentioning. One of them right behind me on this ridge here is called Waialaiki. Waialaiki prices range from about $1.8 million up to and over $3 million depending on the size of the house. Most of those homes up there are older, built in like the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And then this valley really is one of my favorites. It might even be my very favorite. Aina Haina. Aina Haina is the neighborhood where you can actually have a yard. The zoning here only allows you to build one home on like a 7,000 to 10,000 square foot lot. Now some of these have cottages or multi-generational living, but mostly an older neighborhood, one that doesn't turn over very often. Kids ride bikes in the street and neighbors talk to each other and you borrow a cup of sugar from each other. It's really got that kind of vibe. It's very quiet and peaceful. And then beyond Aina Haina is the cream of the crop hillside community, the only gated hillside community called Hawaii Loa Ridge. Now, Hawaii Loa Ridge was built in the 1980s, so you can imagine if you remember the 80s at all or know anything about it, it's a lot of grandiosity and opulence and maybe just a little bit obnoxious at the same time. The houses are huge, they've got marble, but nevertheless, they're very beautiful. Prices there start at least $3 million and can go up to over $27 million or more. All right, let's come back down to earth for a moment. I mean, are we really back down to earth? We're walking on a beach, but going back to Aina Haina being my favorite neighborhood, Aina Haina prices range between $1.3 million and can go up and above $2 million. 1.3, just to let you know, is going to be more of a fixer-upper. So if you see something for $950,000 in any of the neighborhoods along this Diamond Head stretch on your way to Hawaii Kai, know that it's a cautionary tale. That price will typically get bid up. Now, as far as convenience is concerned, Aina Haina is usually the farthest any of my local townie buyers will go, especially those that are like maybe a medical device representative who has to go into a surgery and gets like a 1-hour call to get to the hospital. Anything beyond Aina Haina towards Hawaii Kai might be just a little bit too far for them. Now, I really don't want to get into too much nitty-gritty because there's so much I can say about the valleys and the hillsides of this region, but what we really wanted you to understand was that although this is Honolulu, this area offers lifestyle. It does allow you the opportunity to live along the ocean. It allows you the opportunity to live up high in the hills where you get beautiful views. It also allows you the opportunity to live in sweet, quiet valleys or more rural places like Palolo Valley. Now, next up is our region, Hawaii Kai. Please make sure you subscribe or stick around for that episode. But thank you for watching Living in Honolulu. And if in the meantime, if there's anything Koa and I can do to personally help you, please reach out to us at info@dwellhawaii.com. Koa and I would love to help you.